Hello there, one and all. You know who I am, E.T. Templar, Alien Crusader from Beyond the Heavens, and we're looking at two Rekieta clips. And we're bunching up because we can. So let's see what kind of chicanery.
It's not.
Alright, get the. Alright, let's see what Copernicus has to say here.
It's not a good choice. It's not a bad choice. It is a choice that is neutral. The goodness and the badness is always in your context. If you are not someone who should be drinking, do not drink. If you're able to drink, enjoy it. If you're able to drink now and not able to drink later, then stop.
Sounds like something a heroin addict or like a drug addict, like a smack head would say, wouldn't it? It's not a good thing or a bad thing. Right? total addict-ville here. And of course, he says with a cope, it's entirely up to the morality of the person. Well, buddy, if you're drinking to the point where it's doing, like, damage in your marriage, damage to your kidney, damage to your overall health and well-being, that's a bad thing. That would make it a bad choice. But there's one common thing here with these two clips. Is this stupid ass. Look, I dig libertarians, but there's a point where you guys come off as just fucking morons with this angle. But let's see what else he has to say.
If you need to take a break, take a break. That's on you. That's on you. Your life is in control. This substance does not control you. Neither does anyone's opinion about.
If you're an alcoholic, it fucking controls you. If you're an addict, that fucking controls you. And I'm going to get into some personal anecdotes about this after a little bit.
Any substance, this, ice cream, whatever it is, do what is right for you.
Do what is right for you. Just like what an addict would say. Like an overeater would say. You know, someone who's got a fucking addiction to something, that's a problem. That's a bad choice if it generates more bad habits and bad choices. And if you don't seek help, if you don't seek in curving that, look, I had an uncle. Notice I said had. He took to drink. He was the funniest, most stand-up guy I've ever known in my life. Funny, respectable, he's a firefighter, and I see a lot of things with Nick here, a lot of correlations, and well, eventually his uncle drank him. He died of cirrhosis of the liver, which is a terrible way to die. I quite literally watched him die before my eyes at a young age. So what Rekieta's doing here, he's already justifying his addiction. And when you're saying, you know, a substance doesn't control you and it's a neutral choice, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You're a lawyer. Didn't you have to take a, like, philosophy class as, like, a precursor to that? God, it's not just an opinion, bud. So, more into Nick Rekieta's 1,000 IQ libertarian takes. Let's see what this one's about, shall we?
Dr. Chop says, what is the age of consent in your libertarian dream society, Nick? I don't have any problem with 18 being the age of consent. I really don't. I think it's a fine age of consent. My libertarian dream society, I don't know what it would be.
What do you mean you don't fucking know? 17? 16? Like, 18, even for me personally, is like fucking weird. But then again, I don't really date because I'm a sad incel piece of shit. But even like anything under 25, I find a little bit gross, even for my age, like at 33, right? So the morality is not just an opinion, but Rekieta comes off as this, you know, oh, goodness and evil is all a matter of perspective horseshit, right? Anyways, let's roll it, or otherwise we're gonna be here all night.
I don't think libertarianism is a form of government. Libertarianism is a principle to be applied to other forms of government. So if you want to like try barking up that tree on me, you're not going to get very far, because while I am a libertarian, to me, what that means is that rights start at 0 infraction from the government, and then we move it to the acceptable place in our society. And that's done either represent.
This man who claims to be a Christian, by the way. And what I just heard there is morality is a sliding scale based on society. So that's why I don't really buy Rekieta here being a Christian, because morality is a clear black and white, and maybe there's some gray depending on certain aspects of things, but majoritively it's good and evil. Not this matter of perspective and opinion horse shit, but anyway.
Representatively or democratically, however you're going to do it. But it starts at actually 0. Right? And if you want an example of what that looks like right now in practice, think about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment in a representative republic, the gun rights do not start at 0 infringement, right? That what the gun rights start at is this level of infringement that we've allowed called the Gun Control Act and the National Firearms Act. And we assume as a baseline that machine guns need to be illegal, suppressors need to be illegal, grenades, etc. And we're having to fight against that presumption of illegality to say, no, these should be legal because we should have the right to bear arms. No, the libertarian perspective would be that all arms, all of them, are presumptively legal, and the government has to individually, for each arm, justify its infringement on the Second Amendment.
I can agree with that.
Yes, that includes nukes, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled...
Against nuclear weapons, so come on. Although that would be cool too, I guess.
Shotguns, all of those things. Individually, they have to do them. We don't start with the premise that some things are illegal and that's okay. And we do it for literally every single new thing. We're not going to say, well, these things are illegal, therefore this thing should be illegal. No. Individually, the government must justify the infringement on every single item. That's the libertarian perspective I believe in. So if you want to go to this age of consent argument, which is a very convenient anti-libertarian argument that people can't answer, what is the age of consent in a libertarian utopia? There's no such thing as a libertarian utopia. Libertarians are not governors, and a libertarian government would be laughable on its face. Libertarianism is a concept to be applied to whatever form of government you have to ensure that rights and freedoms are respected to the maximum. In my case, I have no problem with the age of consent being 18. If a society wants to lower or raise it, that's a period of debate. That's a period of discussion that's going to need to go to a vote of some represented people or democratically, depending on how you have it structured. And I'm not the person to decide that for that society.
So this motherfucker just said, in his opinion. So if it goes to a vote to lower the age of consent to under 18, 17, 16, he literally just stated that. Oh, it's up to the people. That's up to a group of degenerates to decide. So let's put a thought experiment out there. Let's say a whole bunch of pedophiles take over the United States government and they lowered that age to no consent. And according to Rekieta's big brain take, it's a council voted by people. This is why this libertarian bullshit. On some things it's okay. But again, this is a guy who quite recently defended cuties, of Netflix, saying, hey, it's a matter of art and creative license with the... No, it's fucking evil, it's degenerate. It's like with the freedom of speech, right? It comes with a limit to moral decorum and a well-cut difference between good and evil. And this turns my stomach. This is a guy who has kids, and he's sitting here talking about, hey, it's not up to me to decide society, and it's put up to a vote. Let's rewind that. Let's hear that again.
Debate, that's a period of discussion that's going to need to go to a vote of some represented people or democratically, depending on how you have it structured. And I'm not the person to decide that for that society. I think 18 is great.
Here's how I would handle that. Any groups of people or government that want to lower the age of consent under 18, 17, whatever, or way lower, Oh, we get to vote, all right. With them against the wall.
Why isn't 18 okay? I don't know. Lots of places have 16. Am I okay with that? I mean, that's what they chose. I would prefer they switch to 18, but that's where they are. I'm also not here to tell them how to govern their fucking states. But a whole lot.
But you can look at it, if you were to set aside your stupid libertarian horseshit opinion and go, is it evil for these people to have sexual relationships with minors, essentially? No. Your conscience goes, no. Whatever libertarian horseshit, your conscience should go, no. That's evil. That's degenerate. That's haram. That's not kosher. And anyways, that's Rekieta's horseshit 1,200 IQ take. And look, I get libertarianism, right? I get limited government. I love that shit. But when it comes to stuff involving freedom of speech and, of course, the age of consent is where you guys get a little bit fucked up. And of course, the legalization of all drugs. That's the three main issues I have with libertarians. But other than that, you guys are all right. As a political idea, I dig it. I understand it. But, like, if you've been around or worked at a place where there's a lot of drug addicts, I'd like it to take one of these libertarians and be, okay, work here for $10 an hour and suffer with all these degenerate drug addicts, heroin addicts, with that they flush their needles and drugs down the toilet, that then you have to unclog and snake out of the toilet, use syringe needles. Yeah, that happened. So that's Nick Rekieta's take. He's got about the moral compass of, he sets up to a democratic debate. But again, this man's a big moral Christian who believes in God and Jesus Christ when he's saying put the age of consent up to a democratic debate, and that's up to the people. No, there comes a point, if you're a Christian person, where if you're a stout faith person, there's things where there's lines you cannot cross, period, if it's political or not. But then again, let's look at Rekieta. Okay, he's clearly has a drinking problem now. It's compounding. So we have a guy that's justifying general degeneracy and justifying his own choice in drug, and he's saying it's not a good choice, it's not a bad choice, it's a neutral choice. All right, Chief. It's your life. Well, I'll use that line. It's your life, bud. But I'm telling you, cirrhosis of the liver, septic shock, it's a fucking horrible way to go. Anyways, I hope he can, I guess he's going to go like a week without drinking. Yeah, we'll see how that works, but get some help, man. You're a funny guy, and I'd hate to see someone have that same end in such a way. Anyways, and then again, if I'll leave this here, that's Rekieta's way, libertarian way of thinking. I don't agree with it. Some of his things, top notch, but the rest, yikes. And here's a bonus rant on the end of this video. So by Rekieta's logic, if a state was to push persecution against Christian and Christian children or Christian families, because it was done so democratically and because it's done through the states and by council and government, it's A-okay. Because that's their choice. So, when the Romans, for example, in history's past, were putting Christians in their gladiatorial games, being mauled by lions, by Nero, when Nero was putting Christians in torches and dousing them in oil and using them as literal street lamps and setting them on fire. Oh, well, I guess it was A-okay because it's by counsel and vote of the people. See, this is where, like, Rekieta, if you are, in fact, the Christian, you say, there should be a point where you go, no, this is haram. This is evil. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is how far do you degrade your morals, your faith in God, Jesus Christ, over the sake of being a cool libertarian dude? You do you, dude. And in reality, I get that. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, children, or pushing that shit on me. Again, you do you, so I'll borrow that little nugget, but the rest is fucking bullshit, and it doesn't apply. So, in closing, am I the perfect Christian? No, I fall short of the glory of God. I'm not here saying that we kind of should repent, or whatever. If you're willing to compromise basic morality, we're not even talking about morality of the Bible and the fundamentals and belief structure and doctrine of the Bible. We're talking from a basic level of human decency. You don't even have to be a Christian to understand that sexual relations with a minor is pretty fucked. You don't even have to be a religious person or a Christian to understand that allowing such heinous things and to have this laissez-faire opinion of it's done by council, it's what the people want, it's what the people shall get, right? Because humans in human nature in general is just evil and they're going to justify whatever, and that should be alarming to anyone. You don't even have to be a person of faith. And we've already seen the degradation of Rekieta's character. Whatever bulwark he had as far as Christian doctrine is quite shattered into a pile of rubble, like the walls of Jericho. And I don't know. It's just weird to see someone basically okay and hand stamp just something like this. It's weird. So I don't know if he's just doing it to say edgy shit or what.